we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.
Celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7. I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free, or check out our Pritzker bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs, or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Pritzker bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
That's right, folks. Order now. Head over to mypillow.com. Make sure you use promo code Oreo. Check out the great products for yourself and for those awesome Christmas presents. Make sure you go over there. Helps out an America First company, Mike Lindell, and you get to work and help out our platform here as well. Again, always support those companies that support your values, and you'll find that in mypillow.com. Welcome back, guys. It is, let's see here, Thursday, October 30th. It seems like tomorrow some of those people that dress up all year long won't know what to do, huh? It's Halloween tomorrow. Welcome to everybody in the show. Is that sideways? I got to fix that. I was moving things around. But welcome back. We got a lot to talk about in the show today. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and hitting that like button, hitting that share button, and make sure you subscribe so you get notifications. You can find us on multiple platforms. And I just want to say thank you. Our main platform, obviously, is Rumble. And thank you to all our Rumble subscribers and everybody on that platform. We can't do it without you. Let me jump in the chats really quick. Move this one over to live chat. There we go. We got Susan in the house, Trina in the house, Hunter. Let's see who's pulling in here. Becky Boo, Deb V. Let's see. Shelly Rose, L. Ralphie, Smith and Wesson 9mm in the house. You got to watch out for him. Cade, Texas with that beautiful American flag. Got to love that. The red, white, and blue. Old Glory, Texas Bigfoot. Who else we got in here? No cussing. I slipped last night. I apologize. I did. You guys missed last night's show. We had a pretty good show last night. And went through some stuff. Just frustrated, especially when it comes to censorship and these companies. L. Ralphie's in the house. Let's see. Shelly Rose, Mater TJ, B. Mikey. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Can't do it without you. Let's go over here. We got Patty Leah, D. McLean. Let's see. Carol Burton, Darlene. Kathy Richardson says, ready, set, go. Let's see. Thank you all for tuning in. Carol Burton, appreciate you guys over there. And we're going to get into it, guys. A video popped up, and sometimes I just love when the videos pop up and it's something kind of comical. But this was during election time. Doesn't have really anything to do with the show, just a funny. that was put out. But it says this is the time during election night where CNN pulled up the map to see if Kamala Harris was outperforming 2020 Joe Biden in any areas of the country. And I watched this and I remember this. I remember this. You guys remember we did the election night show with Penny Loafer, who's probably missing $30. I think he's missing $30. Josh, don't watch my older shows. I cursed like a sailor. Matt said I made sailors blush, and I'm only hitting this once. Jalen, thank you for the Rumble rant. Yeah, no, if you went back to some of my older ones, man, it wasn't all that polite sometimes. But take a listen to this. This is epic.
As I watch this, it never gets old.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything in the
Listen to that.
places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020. So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go.
Holy smokes. And she hasn't ruled out another presidential run. I think it's going to have to do with money. I think she's been hoping for some really big gigs. Not popular with her party. Not popular, obviously, with our party. Kind of interesting the way you see that. We've had a lot of discussion over the years with Planet Fitness and their policies. There's been lots of men going into the women's restroom. But this one was a little different. It says a 44-year-old man, and I'm not going to try to say his name, was arrested at Planet Fitness in Maryland after he was allegedly caught disguising himself as a woman to invade the female bathroom and record women. He reportedly took videos of women while they were in the shower. He has been charged with multiple counts of peeping Tom and other offenses. No offense, but you invite evil in when you have evil policies. And it's an evil policy to say, hey, if your daughter is 9 years old and then 12 years old and in that bathroom, a guy can go in there at any time. That's just Planet Fitness policies. And this is the person, this is how they were dressed up right there. You take a look at that. And again, these perverts, man. Then there was this right here. That said, this is Planet Fitness member gender identity non-discrimination policy. Subject to Section 3, all members and team members may use Planet Fitness locker room facilities or programs based on their self-reported gender identity. So it don't matter what you got going on upstairs. You can do that. Just absolutely crazy. And it's a little disappointing because I've stayed away from Planet Fitness, and it's something that I almost got one when I was in Portland just for a couple months while we're traveling. To be able to go to a gym is huge. And we got that. We got that hotel with a gym. We stayed in Tigrid or whatever it was, just like a 14-minute drive from the Portland ice facility. And I got it. I was like, okay, it's not an expensive hotel. It's kind of safe, out of the way. And it has a full gym. And when we got in there, I checked in that day and I went up, put everything away. I said, I'm going to go get a 45-minute workout in, and went down there and I tried to get in, and I look in the window and it's locked. My key card's not working. But when I looked at the window in their hotel profile, they had all these dumbbells set up, probably up to about 65, 70 pounds. And, I'm not exaggerating. I go get the lady. I said, hey, it's locked. She goes, oh, I'll go open it for you. Well, the reason why is all those dumbbells had been stolen, except I think there was like 210s, 125. And I was like, oh, this ain't going to work out. Let's see. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I look forward to joining the ladies on The View on Tuesday. So Marjorie Taylor Greene will be on The View on Tuesday. I know there's a lot of people not happy with some of the stuff she has said over recent times. And I think some of the stuff that people got really frustrated about the healthcare incident. And I have people in Georgia. I think she just needs to use better wording because, yeah, people's health insurance can skyrocket at the end of the year, not because of this budget, but the way she related is like we had to do something in this budget, very similar to Democrats. So she was getting a lot of flack for that. And the truth is we need to open the government, pass the continuing resolution, and then sit at the negotiating table with Democrats. And of course, they're going to want the whole barn and everything that's on it, the cows, the chickens, and everything else. And we just can't afford that. We just cannot afford that. The cost of Obamacare and the subsidies and everything that are on the hook for taxpayers. Those of you that want to get private insurance, partially the reason why you can't afford it, because you don't have the money to get your private insurance. The cost of private insurance has went up substantially because of Obamacare. And not just that, you're paying for everybody that's on Obamacare. And that's what the intentions were, to force people on a government-controlled healthcare system. It's just horrible. Last night we did show a couple highlights of the Turning Point USA where JD Vance was there. He gave some comments. And before I get into that, I want to show you, this says, this is what conservative students have to deal with at the University of Houston. Deranged behavior. And this is what the Turning Point USA and their volunteers, their chapters have to deal with across the country. But just think about this. What would stop you and cause you to do this? Take a listen.
Shit, fuck y'all.
We're not.
Watch out for the language. It's not my language.
What'd you say?
MAGA pieces of shit, fuck y'all.
We're not partisan.
Suck my cock.
Hey, thanks,
Suck
man.
my
Have a good
cock.
day, man. Do
All the way down. Suck my cock right here. Fuck Turning Point USA. Fuck Republicans. Fuck MAGA. Suck my cock. All the way down to my balls. All the way down. All the way down. Fuck you guys.
Have a blessed day.
Palestine. Fuck you guys.
Just, I guess, a little bit of rage there from that person. And to think those are the people we're educating to put out in the workforce. And when you look at it that way, you're thinking, I wonder what he's going to school for. I don't know. But let's play some of these videos and get you caught up on Vice President JD Vance at the Turning Point USA. He answered a couple questions. He was very faithful, very, very similar to the model that Charlie Kirk had, where it puts God first. And I want you to listen to this answer. And people are saying that there's an issue with chat. I can't do anything about it. It's probably an issue there. I know I don't know where you're watching it. I have it on my program here, which is the studio, and I'm seeing your chat. And then I'm looking over here at my my iPhone where I have the Rumble chat up on my iPhone through the Rumble app, and it seems to be working. Let me put a little something in there real quick. Put the crying frog. And it popped right up. There it is. Yeah, it popped right up. So I don't know exactly why or where. I know some people had some issues yesterday. Just bear with us. Let's put this up.
Thank you so much for being here. My name's Lucy.
And I'm Ellie, and we're with the Turning Point chapter for this question.
Thank you, guys.
Can you tell us how your faith helps you in your role as vice president?
Well, I appreciate that. That is a very good question. And, this is another way in which Charlie has affected my life. I would say that I grew up, again, in a generation where even if people had very deep personal faith, they didn't talk about their faith a whole lot. And I grew up in a country where you just didn't hear political leaders talk about their faith. But the reason why I try to be the best husband I can be, the best father I can be, the reason why I care so much about all the issues that we're going to talk about is because I believe that I've been placed in this position for a brief period of time to do the most amount of good for God and for the country that I love so much. And that's the most important way that my faith influences me. Is we all get a limited opportunity to make a difference. And if you believe as we believe, you believe that God, you believe that Jesus Christ has a plan. And sometimes we don't understand that plan. By the way, one way I don't understand that plan is why my friend lost his life 6 weeks ago. Sometimes I get pissed off about that. But what I remind myself is that there is a deeper rhythm, that Jesus Christ is the author of the fate of human history, and we are charged to do everything that we can to effectuate that vision, to make our country a more virtuous place, a more prosperous place where people can raise a family and not be persecuted for their faith, but teach their children their faith. That recognition that all of us have a duty. And I have two very important duties as Vice President of the United States, to the American people and to God. And that's the most important influence my faith has on me.
It's another reason I think they'll want to try to do their best to take him out. And he is kind of correct. J.D. Vance, not the 70s, 80s, or what we've seen in politics when it comes to age. But we are seeing religion come back into the politic realm for a long time. And I think it was Pastor Jack Hibbs at the Sacramento State Capitol when we were up there on AB 495, that said, we were told, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not exact, I'm going off memory and how I interpreted it. But for a long time that we just don't discuss politics and religion, and the two can't intertwine. I actually think the exact opposite. I think religion should obviously be the foundation of your politics. If you say you're a Christian and you are a faithful Christian, and I'm not talking about the false prophets and all the fake churches, I'm talking about, what the Bible specifically says about your lifestyle, your sexual desires, all these different things, abortion, and you have to vote in that. That's just like, I'm going to use an example. To me, if you go into church and you're hearing the word of God and you saying you're a Christian, and then you go out and go to that voting booth and go for somebody who's trying to fund Planned Parenthood, that's no difference between leaving that church and going to the bar and drinking and sleeping around on your wife or your husband. I mean, at what point, are you living a double life? Is that what it is? Because I think I heard this in my church. When it comes to the Bible, I can't remember what pastor said it, maybe. But there is no sitting on the fence, guys. There is no sitting on the fence when it comes to whether you're going to get through up there or not. That you just can't sit on the fence. You have to go one way and one way only. So hopefully, and I'm starting to see that a little more. They've tried to take God out of the public square for a long time, and it's just despicable. And he talks about God out of the public square. Take a listen to this.
I want to just make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page here. So if you go back to the First Amendment, it doesn't say separation of church and state. It says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. But if you go back to the founding time, there were actually a number of states that had formally recognized churches. So there was the Anglican Church of Virginia. That was the official state church of Virginia. Maryland at the time was the only majority Catholic colony, or at least had a significant Catholic representation of the original 13 colonies. There's a lot there. And yes, I do think that what happened is the Supreme Court interpreted Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion to effectively throw the church out of every public space at the federal, state, and local level. I think it was a terrible mistake, and we're still paying for the consequences of it today. But if, and I think this is your point, if you were to undo that, if you were to get back to a system actually meant by the founders where Congress is not setting up an established religion, but people in their local communities can kind of do whatever it is that they want to do, I think that would be a better system than what we have today. But I think the most important principle that we have got to remember is you do not have to completely kick God out of the public square, which is what we've done in modern America. It's not what the founders wanted. It's not good for the United States of America. And anybody who tells you it's required by the Constitution is lying to you.
Absolutely. We've actually covered that extensively. And it's funny because, you have a lot of churches that have tiptoed around truth. And when I say truth, if a church can't influence what you do, if the teaching of God and the Bible doesn't influence what you do outside of the church, I don't think there's a point for a church, right? And they had this thing of separation of church and state, and churches, because they wanted to keep their nonprofit status or their non-tax status, really watched what they did, unless they were these false prophet, these I guess you can call them dens of hell. You see these fake churches with different flags outside and everything outside of their church. And they've never been called on the carpet about preaching their politics, because in itself, that alphabet community has its own cult religion. And so good on J.D. Vance. And this was one that I liked. This was one I really liked. So one thing that we said Charlie Kirk did is he went to college campuses where people that wanted to think for themselves, people that might have had a conservative upbringing or have, I guess you could say, morals and values that align with what our country was founded on, which was a Judeo-Christian values. They were scared to speak out, and Charlie Kirk kind of gave them a voice. When you look at all these turning point tables that are set up, these different chapters, it gave some of these people the pathway they needed to speak, to understand, hey, I'm not the only person here on this college campus that feels the way I do. And a lot of them were scared to speak out, and they are still scared. They don't want to do anything. They worry. They watched what happened under Joe Biden. While he went after pastors, he went after conservatives, he went after concerned parents at school board meetings. I mean, whether it was the DOJ or the FBI, it was weaponized against conservative Americans. We covered it for 4 years straight. My house got raided so they could put a fancy little news article up, and maybe this will silence him. Maybe this will silence. I got more visits from the FBI than I think actual hardcore criminals got. Listen to this and what this college student says. And I thought this was an interesting question, and I like this one because people are scared to stand up and do what's right.
But there is something you guys are doing that is kind of disturbing me a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You guys have sent the military into Washington, D.C. and a few other cities that I can't think of off the top of my head, which first off, they've had wonderful results. Like no one can deny the results of that. It's wonderful. Some might even say the greatest. I'm a comedian.
I like this guy. Who is this guy?
Thank you, JD. I like you too.
Now he's Now he's going to ask the question about all the shit that we did wrong, but that's okay. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, well, it's not necessarily something you did wrong, but it's what could someone else do wrong? Let's say we get a complete tyrant in office, and let's say Turning Point USA is having a huge protest against, something really bad that we don't like. And let's say he's a president is saying that it's getting violent. How can we, I'm trying to think, my mind's kind of blank. What is the difference between what you're doing and how could we prevent someone from abusing that power?
Yeah. So look, I understand where the question is coming from, and I think it's a fair question. And it's going to sound like I'm being sarcastic, and it really is not meant in any offense. But when you talk about what could another administration do, to take a wild hypothetical example totally off the top of my head, what if Joe Biden sent the Federal Bureau of Investigation to start arresting his political opponents? Okay. So here's something that I want conservatives. I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is we cannot be afraid to do something because the left might do it in the future. The left is already going to do it regardless of whether we do it. That is the takeaway of the last 40 years. And in particular, if you look at what we're doing, if Joe Biden wanted to deploy the National Guard to a red state in a place where the murder rate was twice what it is in third world countries to actually go after murderers, that would be a great use of the National Guard. Unfortunately, I don't think Joe Biden would use it like that. What I'm worried about, frankly, is what the far left already did with American law enforcement. And that is the thing that we have to prevent against. And the answer to that question is you make sure the people who did it face penalties for using the federal power against American citizens. And by the way, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Thank you.
You know, I like that ending part too, because again, we talked about it. Nothing prevents these people from doing it again if we do not hold these people accountable. And him saying that, I haven't heard him speak on that much, but I think that comment at the end, it kind of, I like I said, we know. Those of you that are conservative, you might not be Republican, but you got values, you got morals. We've had plenty of people in the conservative, or I won't say the conservative party, the Republican Party, come out and issue a lot of strong worded letters. This is who did it wrong. Okay. Now, I'm glad I know that. I kind of known that for the years. Can we get some accountability? Can we get some handcuffs? Can we get some mugshots? Can we get some jail time? And I think during this administration, I'm leaning a little bit more. We're probably not going to see everybody. You're definitely not going to get Hillary Clinton, but you might get some other folks, especially those that weaponize the DOJ, especially now that it's coming out once again. I think it was Judge Boasberg who signed off on these radicalized warrants with no basis to tap like Ted Cruz's phone, those type of things. I think we're going to see that. And again, I know there's been some questions. He's done some interviews recently. We played some of that interview yesterday, and people are like asking him. He's like, well, what about when 2028 comes and it's you and you have to fight up against your good our Marco Rubio? And he's like, Marco Rubio is one of my best friends in the administration. And I think that would be right now, and I've said it before, and my opinion will change and can change. But from what I know right now, I would love to see a Vance Rubio ticket. Now, again, the Rubio's still like at that 50% thing because he was little Marco, he's medium Marco. Now he's like medium high Marco, but he's getting up there. I like his responses. Something's been unleashed in him where he's just so America first. You got Democrats trying to protect the drug cartel now when we're striking these terrorists, these narco terrorists that are trying to bring drugs into the country. And Democrats, oh, we need to arrest them and spend our tax dollars on feeding them and housing them. And no, we don't. We don't. They are not innocent people. And then at the end, I think this was near the end, when he finished his speech, take a listen to this. Speaking of 2028.
I appreciate that, but we're not, please. I appreciate that.
They are chanting 48, 48.
But we're not even halfway done. So here's I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds awesome. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do next is actually take some questions. And I remember one of my favorite things about Charlie.
So that's when he was done with his little speech. They were chanting 48, 48. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, folks. And Libs of TikTok also posted this, since we're talking about a Turning Point USA again. Fort Lewis College denies an application for a Turning Point USA chapter and gave their contact information. Take a look at this. This is once again Fort Lewis College. It's amazing what we're seeing with all this. Take a look. Oh, wrong button.
SFLC is navigating a difficult decision. One or many of our ideals must be pushed to the side within the interests of the student body. Our policies, our expectations for our table work through viewpoint neutrality, which requires us to set aside our own viewpoints and the base of our decisions on outline policy, values, and feedback from the student body of that of which we serve. In light of the opinions and concerns shared to us today by both sides of the discussion, with a vote in favor, opposed, and no abstentions, we have decided to deny Turning Point USA's request to become an RSO1 at this time.
Listen to all those people that call everybody else fascist, the true fascist, because they want to silence conservative speak. Think about that.
The students and the community members who currently make up the body of Turning Point USA will be free to use campus resources through a different avenue in Skyhook, as all public and community groups are free to do too. The ASFLC may reconsider this decision of Turning Point status as an RSO in the future, and we encourage anyone navigating free speech alongside us to attend an event put on by the Political Science Department on November 4th at 4:30 p.m. in the ballroom, at which time we will discuss freedom of speech.
We're going to talk about freedom of speech. And again, if you guys want to get involved, which we all need to do, I'm going to share, I'm going to repost this on our X account. The reason why I reposted it is that you can contact them and it gives their phone number. We need to speak up, right? And again, I don't think this will last long. I don't think this will last long. I think these people that make these decisions, there's going to be repercussions for it. And it's just amazing. You've never heard of any Marxist organization, any communist organization not being able to have a chapter on a college campus. But Turning Point USA, that's just crazy. And again, that was Fort Lewis College. Now, Trump, we're going to get into Trump meeting with President Xi in China. And beforehand, I didn't bring it up. Let me pull this up really quick. I forgot to. But you've seen, I think it was over the weekend or end of last week, Russia was testing one of their nuclear warheads, one of their nuclear missiles, if you will. And China tests their stuff all the time. And President Trump came out with a tweet before he met with President Xi. And it wasn't directed at President Xi, but Trump is the FAFO president. And you have all these other countries that are testing them. We haven't tested ours in years. We don't do normal testing to ensure that they're operating what we need them to be. And so he posted this, and he put, the United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years because of other countries' testing programs. I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention on this matter. And so CNN wants to make Trump look bad, obviously. But listen to this, because we're going to get into the meeting between Trump and Xi, what some of the things were accomplished. I'm going to tell you this trip that President Trump took with Japan and all these other countries and these agreements and these partnerships we made has been absolutely historic, folks. But take a listen to this. Abby Phillip says, is Trump trying to put a nuclear threat on the table to push Xi into negotiations? But listen to this. It was just epic. It was
Trump wants
epic. They want to, again, their propaganda.
The nuclear piece of it. Is Trump trying to put a threat on the table to push Xi into negotiations? And is this really the kind of ground that we ought to be fighting on? I mean, our arsenal that could, decimate the entire globe. Is that really the right strategy here?
Well, I think it's farcical to suggest that China has the upper hand. Trump is going into this meeting with two, brand new inked trade deals with South Korea and Japan.
Listen to that. Who has the full deck of cards? It's Trump. When he went into this meeting, he played this so smooth.
These are incredible deals that have within them hundreds of billions of dollars committed to manufacturing here in the United States, an opening of the Japanese market to our cars and our products for the first time in history.
You wouldn't normally hear this on CNN. I know I tried, once all these deals were made, I tried to put it on my local news, and I went through a couple channels just to see if they reported on this, and they didn't. This is very historic, folks. Again, this is more of the America First policy. When Trump started Liberation Day and he started tariffs, you had Democrats cheerleading. We were wondering how long before they put the Chinese flag up, right? Because they were upset that we were putting tariffs on a country who puts tariffs on us, doesn't allow our products to go there, literally uses slave labor. And Democrats said, we support slave labor. We want those 7-year-olds making our shoes instead of American manufacturers making it. But I thought it was incredible to actually hear this. Take a listen to the rest.
So he's going into this meeting knowing that he has made these amazing trade deals on behalf of the American people. And that is what the Chinese are going to be noticing. Now, I wouldn't expect a huge thing to come out of this. I think that both sides want something very limited in the framework they're looking for. Trump wants the soybeans back in the Chinese market. And he also wants the fentanyl to stop coming out of China. He cares deeply about the overdose crisis in America. The Chinese want tariff relief. And I think what we're going to see is...
Let me just...
Man, that person made perfect sense. You don't hear that very often on CNN. And let's go over here. This was interesting. So when they are meeting, again, leave it to a fake news reporter to interrupt them pretty rudely. Take a listen to this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, why did you change your nuclear plans? Why are you going to be doing more nuclear testing?
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Again, they're working on historic trade deals. And of course, and who was no other than Kristen Welker. Remember, where was he at?
Mr. President.
Was it South Korea that he went to? Because I know how these leeches and slime bags with ABC and all these other said if you scream out questions, that is considered assault. I think it was South Korea. Just take a look at the side by side here, and you can't expect anything else from these fake news.
Mr. President, why did you change your nuclear plans? Why are you going to be doing more nuclear testing?
Thank you very much, everybody.
It's just amazing. But how about this? President Trump talking on Air Force One. It was listen to what he said, and then we'll give you a breaking update on some of the things that were secured while he was.
Thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? We have. It was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, there was a lot of different things.
People were saying that this ended bad because it didn't last 6 hours. You're going to be amazed with all the stuff that was accomplished with Trump going down there. And this was another comment that he made, and then we'll play a Fox News report on it. But listen to this.
We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture. And many other things like that. On fentanyl, we agreed that he was going to work very hard to stop the flow. It's a very complex subject because it's used for lots of different reasons, including anesthetics and things. But he's going to work very hard on it, precursors, and I think you're going to see some real action taken. I've agreed, as you know, I put a 20% tariff on China because of the fentanyl coming in, which is it's a big tariff. And based on his statements today, I reduced it by 10%.
So again, when you talk about the art of the deal, when you talk about leverage, Democrats have talked about leverage a lot. They have shut down the government, essentially taking SNAP, which is Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program, away from children. They are literally trying to starve families, starve the elderly, and use that as leverage. Trump went about leverage a different way. He imposed tariff as a way to have some trade negotiations where he was getting nowhere. He knew he wouldn't get anywhere. We've let China literally become a superpower, and that needed to be reined in. One of Trump's major things is the fentanyl crisis, the overdose deaths. That's why we're going after these narco terrorists. That's why we have classified these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. It's not because it's just, I just want to do this. It's because you can look at the numbers, 300,000 overdose deaths a year. Democrats are nowhere to be found on this. Take a listen to this.
Yes, now here's some more outlines of the deal. Dana, Trump will reduce tariffs on China. Yes, now here's some more outlines of the deal. Dana Trump will reduce tariffs on China down to 47%, which is down from 57%. China will curb fentanyl trafficking. China will purchase American soybeans again. The deal, which has not been signed, is only for 1 year. Trump also said China will begin buying American oil and gas from Alaska. Here was the scene in Busan on the southeast corner of the Korean peninsula. The meeting with Xi lasted for an hour and a half, not the 3 to 4 hours Trump had predicted earlier. Their first face-to-face meeting since Trump returned to the White House. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who met with Chinese officials in Malaysia at the beginning of this trip to Asia last week, the fifth such meeting all over the world, these meetings, announced earlier to our colleague Maria Bartiromo the volume of the American soybeans China has agreed to purchase.
The Chinese have agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans during this season. Right now, then for the next 3 years, they're going to be buying a minimum of 25 million metric tons per annum for the next 3 years.
So again, now that was one of China's leverage points, was the soybean, and our soybean farmers bought absolutely zero when they were the biggest importer of soybeans from the United States. I just think it's absolutely epic that we're seeing this. Here's Scott Benson again saying the same thing, but on a different show. When you think about this historic week,
Possibly as soon as next week. And Maria, one of the big parts of this agreement, and I'm going to break the news here on your story, is the massive amount of agriculture purchases that the Chinese are going to be doing in this agreement. So the Chinese have agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans during this season, right now, between now and the should be January. And then for the next 3 years, they're going to be buying a minimum of 25 million metric.
So now you literally have Democrats. We got a video of Chuck Schumer saying this is bad. Trump gave away the House. These people, let's look at what Joe Biden did. Absolutely nothing. Talk about giving away the House. Talk about giving away the House. It's just disgusting and despicable. But here he says, China has called Trump's bluff.
In the middle of the second longest government shutdown in American history, Donald Trump left the country and traveled all the way to Asia to meet President Xi.
All the way to Asia, guys. President shouldn't travel.
And what did he do? He bowed down to President Xi. China has called Donald Trump's bluff, and Donald Trump has folded, leaving American families and farmers and small businesses to deal with the wreckage from his blunders, from his erratic, on-again, off-again tariff policies. Americans, beware. Trump will spend the next few days trying to spin the so-called agreement as a win for America. But that is total bull. Don't believe Trump.
They literally had to print a sign within minutes to get it out there because they knew Trump was going to go down there and pull off the art of the deal.
He has folded to China.
We know Democrats have folded and are now folded in, almost like when you're supposed to be mixing some flour and making some cake and they say fold it in. That's the Communist Party. The Democrat Party is now the Communist Party. We have seen that with the people they endorse, the candidates that are rising to the top. They say socialism. Just absolutely amazing. If they're triggered, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And then there was a funny. We always got to talk about the funnies because anytime Trump does something, the paid influencers from the DNC go, oh my God, look at Trump. Look at what he says right here. They were dealing with some turbulence. Take a look.
Discuss basically, these are rough winds in Asia. I must tell you, this is a rough flight. We could have waited an hour maybe. This is a little tough these are tough conditions for interviews. You know, they're going to be watching Trump. They're going to say, he didn't look too good. He's got the shakes. I don't have the shakes, but people are going to think I do.
That is just great. Trump's got the shakes. Oh my God, he had an MRI. What is going on? Oh my God. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to post. Let me see if that was the end of this right here, and then we'll get into the shutdown. But I saved this last night because it was part of J.D. Vance's interview talking about Trump. And let me see if I can find it really quickly. And same thing that CNN says, talking about Trump's sleep, and he's always working. If you remember, with Joe Biden, his own press secretary says he doesn't do anything before 10 a.m. Let me see if I can find this really quick. Let's see. We got this right here. This is great.
If you're lucky, he'll sleep 2 hours. If you go on one of these.
This is hilarious, guys. Even CNN was complaining about the overseas trips with Trump.
23-hour international. You go on one of these 23-hour international trips with Donald Trump. If you're lucky, he'll sleep 2 hours. If you're unlucky, he'll be roaming around Air Force One, busting your chops because you've fallen asleep. And like, oh, he's low energy. Look, he's already asleep and he's, been on the plane for 18 hours.
He wakes up the journalists.
He wakes
for
up
midnight gaggles.
He wakes up the journalists for midnight gaggles. There is just something about him. And I don't know if it's, he's president of the United States for 4 years this term, and he's just so focused on getting as much as possible done. But he really sleeps less and still has more energy than anybody that I know that's 40 years younger than he is. And that is, I mean, you hear people talk about it. You wonder how true it is. Trust me, I've seen it from the inside. He has.
That's just absolutely epic. That is absolutely epic. I love that. I love that because we've talked about it. I tell you, right now I have a lot of energy. I don't mind working 16, 17-hour days. And it sucks sometimes. But that man, just every day, it's just absolutely historic. I got to put this one over here too. So let's see, I'll put it right there for now. So we have a Democrat shutdown of our government, also known as the Schumer Shutdown. And we have some folks who are trying to blame Republicans. We have it's the 30th, 2 days until SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program, aka food stamps, runs out of money, and Democrats shut down the government. They have refused. Is it 14 times now they've refused to open up the government on a clean CR, a continuing resolution? That is what they've passed 13 times under Joe Biden. And some of the media is actually asking the questions that we want to hear. They're not pushing very hard, but Rep. Janelle Bynum, first of all, can't say why she voted to shut down the government, because that's what Democrats did. And then she's asked why she doesn't pass the continuing resolution. And listen to this. This is where the Democrats are getting
to Democrats
right now.
They
listen to the reporter and listen to her response.
did have a clean CR vote on September. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization.
What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September.
Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats.
What's the poison pill? There is no poison pill. It's a Totally clean CR. There's no fluff from Democrats. There's no fluff from Republicans. That's why they won't pass it. Democrats want their little LGBTQ stuff for overseas and all these other things, healthcare for illegal aliens. Listen to this again. Listen to this again. This is beautiful. We've been showing you these every day.
They did have a clean CR vote on September. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth.
I disagree with your characterization. What do you disagree with? And then she'll talk about a poison pill. There's no poison pill. This is the same funding that has funded the government for 7 months that Democrats passed in March. Think about that for a second.
They've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization.
What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September.
Here's what's important. I think.
Here's what's important. We are using this as leverage. We want to see starving children because we are Democrats. And we want to blame Trump. We want all the chaos in the world. And I told you guys, let me play one more and then I'll get to what I told you guys. Listen to CNN. Even Caitlin Collins even plays a video of Dollar Store Obama in 2013 blasting a government shutdown and asked what has changed between the Dollar Store Obama from then and the Dollar Store Obama from now. Take a listen to this.
But we don't have a partner. We're in the midst of a government shutdown right now that is unnecessarily forcing pain on the American people. It's a shutdown that was manufactured by the House GOP that has resulted in a situation where Americans all across this country have now been put in jeopardy. That's a tragedy of epic proportions.
I wonder what Hakeem Jeffries of today would say to the Hakeem Jeffries of 2013 who had that message in terms of wanting to pass a clean CR so Congress could get back to work.
Well, the Hakeem Jeffries of today definitively agrees with the Hakeem Jeffries of yesterday from the standpoint of, listen, we've said to Republicans, get to the negotiating table. We want to find a bipartisan path forward. We want to reopen the government. We're standing by hardworking federal employees, but we need a partner in that effort. But we don't have a partner. Literally, Donald Trump, over the last 29 days, has spent more time talking to Hamas and to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country. And that's extraordinary in and of itself. And
the president doesn't need to speak with you. He is the president of the United States. You have Congress, the House, and the Senate. Republicans in the House passed a clean, with no poison pill, bill to the Senate. It's Senate Democrats that have refused to do this. And I want to talk about something really quick that, and I see even people that think they're important on the left. It was kind of funny. I seen this. Say that this is fake news. Now, I told you the other night I was talking to Will Johnson, talking about the chaos that can unfold when people don't have their EBT cards, when things go crazy. I want to bring up an example that I've brought up before on the show, and I can't remember how many years ago now it was. It's probably 18 years ago. In Fresno, in Southwest Fresno, they had something go on with their electricity, and their electricity was going to be out for like 2-3 days, maybe a little less. And within 6 hours into this whole area not having electricity, the local supermarket was already looted. All the food was off there. It was just crazy chaos. It's like I remember telling Rachel when she thought I was crazy for being a prepper. She never thought anything like COVID could happen or anything like that. And then once it happened, it really opened her eyes. I told you guys, we didn't have to go anywhere for anything. We would have been fine for quite a while. But this is going to cause some chaos in the streets. That's what you want to talk about, getting people out at marches, people that aren't even political. They're only hearing from legacy media, the fake news, that this is Trump's shutdown. And now, starting in 2 days, when they can't go get their 12-pack of soda, their cookies, and everything else, they're entitled. They're going to be livid. And I'm not talking about people that need assistance, because the majority of them do not. We showed you the graphs. We showed you, what was it? Was it 70-something% that people with SNAP benefits spend on groceries versus those who don't get them? There's a lot of fraud in that. And I seen this. It says a local police department is stepping up patrols around grocery stores ahead of SNAP funds running out for CalFresh EBT users. Barstow police fearing the funding freeze could fuel theft in stores. The latest on food stamp funding fight this morning at 6 from ABC 7. Oh, you're going to see it. A lot of times police won't even respond in many areas in California. I'll tell you, here in Clovis, where I live, conservative area, great police department. If those stores call, Clovis police will be there and arrest people for stealing. But this is the chaos the Democrats want to cause in the streets. I mean, all they need right now is a criminal to get killed by police that's resisting arrest. They would love it. They would absolutely love it. And I just thought I wanted to bring that up because I told you about that conversation between me and Will Johnson, and it was they're setting us up right now, and in some areas it's going to be really bad. Today, our listen to Mike Johnson.
We have to come in and relay the simple facts. Yesterday, according to the Media Research Center study, by a 2.5 to 1 margin, the Capitol Hill Press Corps has tweeted more about the House calendar during the shutdown than the negative consequences of the Democrat shutdown, than the troubles that we have, the hardships that are being experienced because of the troop pay and WIC funding and flights grounded and SNAP funding. You guys are writing more about the House calendar than the real pain that's being inflicted on the American people. And that's why we have to come in and relay the simple facts.
Isn't that crazy? By a 2.5 to 1 margin, the DC Press Corps have focused more on the House calendar for our congressmen and women than they have on the consequences of the Schumer shutdown. Just insane. And I thought this was interesting. Leader John Thune kind of went off. We showed you some of that video, but listen to what Frank Luntz tweets out. I'm not a fan of Frank Luntz. Fence-sitter at best. He says, I've known John Thune for 25 years. He is one of the nicest, calmest, and most decent people ever to serve in the Senate. If he is upset or emotional, pay attention. It's real. Finney K was wrong to accuse him of performance on the Senate floor. It's not true, but I was wrong to interrupt her. I apologize to her on the air, and I apologize to her again now. Enough with the dehumanization and delegitimization. We need to treat people with dignity and respect, regardless of party or ideology. Listen to this. We're not going to play the whole thing.
Well, let's talk about what many Americans right now are ruining, and that's the day the shutdown happened, and it continues on what date? Like 29 are we at this point in time? It's unbelievable to think about. Karen, on Capitol Hill, the majority leader, John Thune, he is putting a lot of pressure as we speak on Democrats, and he was laying blame right at their feet, which Democrats anticipate and have rejected, over SNAP benefits that are expiring at for the very first time. Listen.
SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. people should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. You voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out 29 days in that, oh, there might be some consequences.
They didn't just figure that out. Oh,
it's a beautiful performance.
It's
right?
not a performance.
It is a performance.
It's not a performance.
Frank,
I know him.
You are not talking.
I know
I
him.
am talking.
No, I'm
Listen to this little. Won't say it.
talking.
No, I was answering
Tell
the question.
the truth.
You need to not be
Tell
rude and let
the
me
truth.
finish the answer.
And tell the truth.
I want to hear,
from
both of you.
Don't you dare accuse me of lying.
John Thune, I know John Thune, and he was not a performance.
Hold on a second. I hear you both. I want to hear from all of you. Start your response, please. If you want to interject at that point, please do. But I want to hear you say. And if you're not being truthful, I'm sure they'll take you to task.
Yes, I felt like that was a performance. What I was going to say is right after that, the Republicans blocked a measure that was put forward by Democrats that would have actually said, let's go ahead and put some money into SNAP. But one of the other things that I think Democrats are so enraged about, how about the rescissions package that took $200 million away from SNAP benefits? I mean, Republicans are upset because now their voters are about to have consequences.
Hang on a minute. Chuck Schumer said this shutdown gets better for us every day, knowing full well that on one of those days, it would mean SNAP benefits would be denied. Democrats have had 13 chances to reopen the government. And every other CR, every other time we've had a continuing resolution to keep the government open, when Democrats were in charge, they said, oh, you can't bring other issues in. You just have to clean CR, clean vote. You've changed the way.
But hold on. Is that the part you're talking about? Is the performance? What aspect do you see as the issue here? None of it?
No, both sides are at fault. And this is where I feel alone because I'm critical of both sides. But I know John Thune. I've known him now for 20 years. He doesn't do that. He has never done that. I'm sitting in your green room and I'm watching the video of that and I was shocked. And we got to stop
But he doesn't do what? I want to be clear. I don't know.
He doesn't get emotional. He doesn't say that on the floor of the Senate. That's not John Thune. And we sit here and demonize these people, and it's wrong. We are creating so much hate, so much division. This is toxic. And I know this from my focus groups, from my polling, how angry, how divided we are as a country. And at some point, it gets too far. I'm going to apologize to you publicly for interrupting you. I should not have done that. But please don't say that
It's not the first time you've done it. Probably won't be the last.
So,
what a little bitch, man. Sorry. What a little. But once again, it's the blame game. It's the blame game. And we're seeing it constantly. So we're going to, I don't know if we're going to have a second show today. Tomorrow we'll only have one show. This might be the only show today. I don't know. I got to help Rachel out with our trunk or treat stuff. And Caden has some stuff going on today. And it just, we'll see. We'll see. I'll try to get one. I might do a later show tonight like I did last night. But don't forget, we did have our drawing yesterday. And the person that won was just absolutely has helped us out at the Oreo Army for quite a while. That was Krista R. And she donated the raffle back for another raffle. So again, we're going to be doing that raffle on Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So if you guys want to get in for an opportunity to get this beautiful cross right here, this beautiful cross, and one of either the light up MAGA hat or the Trump MAGA hat. I don't have them right here. I put them over there, so I'm not going to get up. Next show, I'll do a video of them so I can just play a video. But if you guys want to get in, we are 100% viewer funded. You can get in now for that raffle. I think we got, old Uncle Bill got DAHP in yesterday. If DAHP is in here, you are in the raffle. Trina's in the raffle. Old Uncle Bill and Jaylyn got in the raffle. So thank you guys last night. Appreciate you. So if you want to jump in, every $10 donation gets you one entry. If you do $20, that's 2 entries. If you do $30, that's 3 entries. And you can do so at Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army, GiveSendGo.com/Oreo 2024. And as always, we have a Zelle link if you do mobile or online banking. That Zelle link is provided on our website as well under the Donate Now button. But that Zelle link is purepatriot559@yahoo.com. That's PURE patriot559@yahoo.com. And again, thank you to everybody who's helped us out. We appreciate it. We're going to have some pretty big news probably by the end of next week. We're working on some stuff. I've had some help from some of you guys. We're going to try to get the computer ordered because this one has just been crazy. And then we have to change some stuff here. It looks like we're going to get some because we're going to be losing a monitor. So we'll have another monitor up here since we won't have a laptop no much. And all this craziness and the slowing down and the fumbling of the live stream and the computer overheating should be done with. And it's going to be an excellent computer. So thank you all for helping out. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. And thank you to those who have who contacted me and said, let's work on a computer. Let's get you a computer. Thank you guys. And again, Krista, thank you for donating that stuff back. So if you guys want to get in, now's the time. I see this article or this interview, and I want you to listen to Gavin Newsom talk about California derangement syndrome. The guy is the absolute worst governor in the United States, far worse than any other governor. Take a look.
I mean, San Francisco, which is now, as we said, it's a historic drop in crime over the past year.
60-year low in homicides on its way to 70%. Percent across the board.
But San Francisco had become a symbol of the failure of liberal democratic policy.
Because it was exploited and colored in. It's part of the California derangement syndrome.
It's been exploited and colored in. We've been to San Francisco. It's just amazing. Instead of taking accountability, he was the mayor of San Francisco, and he ran on my number one goal is to get rid of the homelessness here, fix the homeless crisis, and it's only gotten worse. But again, this is a guy that takes no accountability for anything.
But is there anything to that? I know it's been exploited. I know you talk about California derangement system, Fox News, constant, every time there's a smash and grab. But I mean, the voters in this city recalled a DA because
which I supported.
Because the feeling was that there were policies in the city that were soft on crime.
That's right. That's correct. And we supported that recall.
Let's not forget, again, he's not funding Prop 36, which 76% of Californians voted for because of all his prop. What was it? AB 40, AB 47, AB 57, the soft on crime policies that have created this hellhole known as California. There's a lot of beautiful areas here in California, but our policies and our politics have destroyed it, has made it unsafe, has made it dirty. Homeless encampments. I mean, highest taxes, highest gas prices, record amount of homelessness, more homeless here in California than any other state. I mean, there's so many things that Gavin Newsom and Democrats have created for the state of California, and he calls it a California derangement syndrome. Kind of interesting. And I just want to say this again. I want to show you this, and then I'll give you some information. But Billie Eilish, you guys are getting mad at me. I don't know who Billie Eilish is. I've heard of her before. Is she a singer? Let me look so I can have some context to this. You can make fun of me all you want. Billie Eilish is an American singer, songwriter, musician. Eilish first gained public attention in 2015 with her debut single, Ocean Eyes. Okay. Well, let's listen to what she has to say. You guys better listen to the Richie.
Please vote yes. Hi, I'm Billie Eilish, and I am asking for your help. If you live in California, please vote yes on Prop 50 on or before November 4th. It is so unbelievably important, and if you need any help voting, you can go to vote.ca.gov. It's so important. Vote yes on Prop 50. Thank you.
Why? Why would you want to vote for yes on Prop 50? This is because the people like this. Let me pull up one more thing really quick. Let's see what her net worth is. Let's see what the net worth is here. Estimated net worth $50 million. You better listen to, everybody that Democrat says is evil and everything else. That's who they get to promote their horrific ideas. Prop 50 is horrible. If you're in California or you know somebody in California, get them to go out and vote today. Voting's open. You can vote in person, because I don't want it to come to Tuesday and people be like, oh, well, I didn't have a chance to vote. Vote no on Prop 50. You understand. Let's just use it, Congress, for example. Look at the Republican vote is about 40% in California. About 40% voted for Trump in the last presidential election. You know how much representation we get? About 17%. They want to take that down even further. We already have a Democrat supermajority. This does nothing to change everything they say it's changing. All it does is take away representation. It gerrymanders the state even more, even though we have an independent redistricting committee. I'm telling you right now, if whatever you're doing, get out and vote. You can vote tomorrow. You can vote the next day, but vote and get out and vote no on Prop 50. You think California is bad now? You think those videos we show you about how the weekends in Oakland went, you think that's bad now? You think it's bad that you can't walk into a lot of businesses because you're stepping over vagrants and homeless? Just wait. You think maybe there's not enough needles? Maybe we need more harm reduction. Maybe we need to hand out more glass pipes and syringes to drug addicts that are killing themselves. Because that's what you're going to get. I'm telling you now, vote no on Prop 50. Bev A says, I voted no. Renee says, I voted no. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. See what else we have here. Check this out. Governor Pritzker wants criminals to have free reign over Halloween. You can't make this stuff up. Take a look at this.
The Department of Homeland Security claims their highest priority is to protect children. So I have to ask them, please live up to those ideals. I've sent a letter to Kristi Noem and to the Department of Homeland Security leadership asking them to pause all of their federal agent operations for the entirety of the Halloween weekend.
I wasn't shocked when I seen it, guys. But isn't this amazing? Listen to this. Listen to this. All his fake stories. What was it? The Chicago mayor saying black babies are being zip tied in the back of white vans in the middle of the night. These people are insane.
I'm asking for basic human decency. I think their response will be revealing. They've disrupted everything for more than 2 months already. Give the children and the families of Illinois a break. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, show us this is about something other than you just causing mayhem on our streets and visiting cruelty upon our people. And after Halloween, if you want to actually go after the worst of the worst, work with our local law enforcement to help us go after violent criminals. Instead, you are targeting innocent children and families, black and brown people, U.S. citizens.
Now we know that's a crock of shit, but you know what he's not talking about is once again what his sanctuary policies did.
But there's more to this story. Earlier, a large crowd gathered in the Coles County Courthouse. Checo Meza is now looking at charges of driving without a license and not slowing down to avoid an accident. But there's more to this story. Earlier, a large crowd gathered in the Coles County Courthouse to mourn the deaths of Mike and Gail Clayton.
May God bless the Clayton family during this trying time. Thank you.
An emotional moment for Coles County Board Chairman Darrell Cox as community members mourn the deaths of board member Mike Clayton and his wife Gail. They were hit by another car in Westfield Friday and pronounced dead at the scene.
But I've been silent for too long. Mike and Gail Clayton were killed by a driver that was in this country illegally.
Originally, Illinois State Police told WCIA3 the suspect was from Indiana. Now, an Immigration and Customs Enforcement spokesperson says in a statement, quote, ICE launched an immigration detainer on Edwin Pacheco Meza, 34, an illegal alien from Honduras, after he was arrested in Illinois. And Cox is being vocal about his concerns.
I'm calling on our governor and his legislature to reverse course and repeal the Trust Act.
It's an act Coles County Sheriff Kent Martin says sidelines law enforcement during immigration matters.
If someone is here illegally but hasn't been charged criminally in the federal court, we can't even notify someone that they're in custody.
Other board members made similar calls to action, and Cox went on to say the Claytons died because of, quote, broken immigration policies.
Pritzker has blood on his hands. That's what that is. Those people are dead because of sanctuary policies. He doesn't care about their children. He doesn't care about the children that are getting killed every day in Chicago. He doesn't care one damn bit. He wants to put illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. And it is sickening, folks. It is sickening. Let's not forget, Democrats in general feel this way. Who remembers this? 160 Democrats voted against deporting illegals that were caught for drunk driving. It was 246 to 160. I'm going to put this up right here. Look at that. Only 37 Democrats voted to deport illegal aliens caught drunk driving, putting your family at risk, my family at risk. Pretty sad, pretty sad. But hey, as long as these these sex traffickers, these human traffickers, these drug dealers, these gangbangers, as long as they can have Halloween weekend, that means Trump cares about kids. That means Kristi Noem cares about kids. How ridiculous. Commander up at large, Gregory Bovino says, put up this tweet, says he must have thought he was pretty fast in that black Corvette, but he wasn't fast enough to evade the green machine. The U.S. citizen attempted to run Border Patrol agents off the road in Chicago. He then fled, driving erratically, endangering public safety, and hitting at least 2 civilian vehicles. Our agents with Operation Midway Blitz tracked him to his residence, where he was arrested for 18 U.S.C. 111, assault on a federal officer. Any assaults on federal law enforcement will not be tolerated. You will be identified, you will be arrested, and you will earn consequences for your violent actions. Bye-bye. I hope you get at least 5 years. At least 5 years. And how about this one? This was actually yesterday. I meant to share this. Yeah, yesterday. Take a listen to this. These activist judges are losing, and they need to be arrested.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster. The High Court ruled that Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to send Venezuelan gangbangers to a mega prison in El Salvador. This is a huge ruling in Trump's favor and a major win for the country. After, as you know, D.C. Judge James Boasberg ordered a stop to the deportations. So this is pretty significant. These deportations, Caroline, can keep going.
This is a massive legal victory, Jesse, a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States of America. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges like Judge Boasberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off of our soil. We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do so. And this decision proves that President Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America is a much safer place. Our team will get to work tomorrow to deport these heinous, violent foreign terrorists from our neighborhoods.
And you had another couple critical wins in the court with regard to Doge. Tell us about those. That seems to be making progress.
Yes, absolutely. There have been many wins that the mainstream media has failed to cover, particularly over the weekend. The Supreme Court also ruled that the president does, in fact, have the authority over federal funding, that he can dictate what funds can go out the door and what can't, so long as they are part of the executive branch. So we have always, again, maintained that every executive order the president has signed, every executive action that he has taken has been well within his executive authority. And Doge is doing a tremendous job at cutting back at the waste and the fraud and the abuse that have been ripping off American taxpayers, that have not been aligned with our interests here in our country. So we're going to continue the president's agenda. Again, he's well within his constitutional authority. And it's great to see the Supreme Court reining in these activist judges who are wearing robes, but are acting as judicial activists, not as real judges and real arbiters of the law.
All right. Lawyers wrong. I can't believe a lawyer would ever be wrong. It just amazes me. They think they're always right. I guess not this time.
Man, these activist judges are getting handed to them at the Supreme Court level, and I think that's great news. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. Before we leave, I don't know. I'm going to try to do another show. I got to talk to Rachel. We have some stuff going on. But if not, maybe later tonight. I don't think Caden's doing bicycle racing tonight. He hasn't been feeling that great, so we want to get him some rest, say a prayer for him. And if you guys want to get in on the raffle, thanks to Krista R. She donated it back. Now's your time to get in. This right here is a beautiful handmade custom cross from our good buddy Big Mike, and just absolutely gorgeous here. And so it'll be this item and one of two hats. We have a Trump light up hat and a MAGA light up hat that you choose between one of them. If you guys want to donate to us, we are 100% viewer funded. Every $10 donation gets you one entry. So it would be, if you do $20, that's 2 entries, $30, that's 3 entries. The sooner you get in, the better. We're getting close to the end of the month, and we appreciate you. All our donation links will come up at the end of the show right now. We have Venmo, Cash App, GiveSendGo, and Zelle. So appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we will see you in a few hours. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Well, hop aboard the Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.